Welcome everybody to what has been mostly sunny but rainy today, Martha's Vineyard. I have so much to talk about. We'll talk a little bit about the show break on the bonus show when Pat joins me. We're going to talk about cancel culture later on today. I do have some segments planned about what's going on with coronavirus cases versus deaths, which I got a bunch of emails about over the weekend. But to start with, we have to talk about this complete softball propaganda interview that Donald Trump was given on Fox News, which still managed to go completely and horribly wrong. And as you know, one of the themes of the presidency of Donald Trump has been self-inflicted damage, because a ton of the stuff that has gone wrong for Donald Trump has been self-inflicted. It's been because of his own doing. Had he not been spouting off on Twitter, for example, for months and months and months, the entire Russia probe would likely have come and gone with a lot less grief for Donald Trump than what ended up being a very, very much extended fiasco. Had Donald Trump simply avoided extraneous, belligerent statements about coronavirus, it's going to go away, 15 cases will go to zero, and if instead he focused on building a testing program quickly that worked, we wouldn't be in the shape that we're in right now. I could give you more examples, but I think you get this idea of self-inflicted damage from Donald Trump. Donald Trump went on Sean Hannity's Fox News program, and he was given a complete softball propaganda interview. The crowd was filled with sycophants who felt bad for how tough things had been for him. Hannity, at this point, is a friend of Donald Trump's. He was seen recently getting onto Donald Trump's Marine One helicopter in advance of Trump getting on. They went somewhere together. They regularly speak. So Hannity interviewing Trump at this point is very similar to like when Don Jr. interviewed Donald Trump recently. It's the type of stuff you expect in North Korea. But the difference is Trump is so incompetent that even his son or his friend Sean Hannity, giving him the most softball of softball interviews, still can't make him look good. So let's get into it. Donald Trump is, of course, running for re-election. I've been saying for a while now, there's been no coherent case made for why people should vote for Donald Trump other than Trump attacking Joe Biden, which he's been doing for a while. So Trump was teed up this easy question. Hey, what would your second term priorities be? What would you focus on in a second term? Easy opportunity. And Trump couldn't name anything. Take a look at this.
If you hear in 131 days from now, at some point in the night or early morning, we can now project Donald J. Trump has been reelected the 45th president of the United States. Let's talk. What's at stake in this election as you compare and contrast? And what are your top priority items for a second term?
Well, one of the things that will be really great, the word experience is still good. I always say talent is more important than experience. I've always said that. But the word experience is a very important word. It's in a very important meaning. I never did this before. I never slept over in Washington. I was in Washington, I think, 17 times. All of a sudden, I'm president of the United States. You know the story. I'm riding down Pennsylvania Avenue with our First Lady, and I say, this is great. But I didn't know very many people in Washington. It wasn't my thing. I was from Manhattan, from New York. Now I know everybody. And I have great people in the administration. You make some mistakes, like, an idiot like Bolton, all he wanted to do is drop bombs on everybody. You don't have to drop bombs on everybody. You don't have to kill people.
If John Bolton, in fact, released classified material, should he be prosecuted?
Yeah, oh, absolutely. Well, he did release classified. Actually,
This is the softball of softballs from Sean Hannity, and Donald Trump just can't answer it. Experience is important. I never slept over in D.C. I made a mistake to hire John Bolton. Let's put this on the screen, and I won't do this with all of the clips, but to really understand how ridiculous of a non-answer this is to the question, what are your priorities? Let's actually look at what Donald Trump said. Quote, well, one of the things that will be really great, the word experience is still good. I always say that talent is more important than experience. I've always said that, but the word experience is a very important word. It's a very important meaning. I never did this before. I never slept over in Washington. So you get the idea. So what would your priorities be? Trump can't name anything. Here is Donald Trump asked, what does he think are the greatest accomplishments of his first term? Again, very easy question. Important if you're arguing for people to vote for you to have a second term, you have to demonstrate or at least argue that you did something good. Trump is unable to list anything other than an Obama policy from 2014 called Veterans Choice, which we'll talk about, and the fact that Mitch McConnell forced in some judges. So here's the person asking the question. You'll see just the complete gushing supporter of Trump. The question is something I'm calling ultra cringe. Let's start there.
The audience has some questions for the president. We're going to start from Linda. Hi, Linda, from
Wausau, Wisconsin.
Thank you for being here with us today. Say hello to President Trump.
Wausau windows, right? Windows. You know, I bought a lot of Wausau windows over the years. And you know, it's I shouldn't give them a free commercial, but they did a good job. It's a great window.
They are.
Wisconsin.
Love it up here.
Thank you.
Es un honor, señor presidente. My Cuban background.
Good.
I have a question for you. I appreciate so much what you have done for this country, and I know it's been tough. What do you think is your greatest accomplishment in your eyes?
So a lot of people think it's the fact that we will have, I think before I'm finished this term, we'll have close to 300 judges, federal judges. A lot of people think, because that's a record, that's a number that nobody can even believe. And part of it was that President Obama was unable to get judges approved in a large number, about 142 judges. So I took it off, got them approved, and then got a lot approved beyond. So we'll be close to 302 Supreme Court judges, great ones. And so I think a lot of people would say that.
So the judge stuff, understand, it's not really Trump's doing. It's really Mitch McConnell's. I've said before, Mitch McConnell has been one of the most successful Republican operators of the last many, many years. McConnell blocked Barack Obama getting a Supreme Court nominee, held the seat open long enough that Donald Trump was able to put in Neil Gorsuch, who, of course, was recommended by somebody else to Donald Trump. So Trump says judges have been my biggest accomplishment. Now, it's true that the people Trump picks are a disaster, but the reason they're getting in is because of Mitch McConnell. The reason they're getting selected is because conservative groups are telling Trump, pick from this list. It's not even really a Trump accomplishment, but it is a very good reason to vote for Joe Biden, first of all. Then here's the second part of Trump's answer where he says, one of my biggest accomplishments is Veterans Choice, which was an Obama policy from 2014.
And we got Veterans Choice approved and Veterans Accountability. That's where you can fire people that do a bad job. You couldn't do it before. Very hard to get. They tried to get it for 50 years because of civil service unions, et cetera. You couldn't, get it. I got it. And the other thing is Veterans Choice, where if they can't see a doctor, we have great doctors in the VA, but if you can't see a doctor, you go out and you get a private doctor. We pay the bill. And you have no idea how great it's been.
So Veterans Accountability is BS. That's a Marco Rubio bill from 2017. It's trash. It's a trash bill. At least it did happen during Trump's presidency. The other policy Trump mentions here, Veterans Choice, that's a 2014 Obama policy. Trump made some changes to it, but understand that what Trump is claiming to be his biggest accomplishments are Mitch McConnell getting judges confirmed and a 2014 Obama policy. It's a comedy of embarrassment. Also funny, by the way, that his one accomplishment, which is really Obama's, is one where the government gives people health care. Trump is right now trying to further damage Obamacare to take away health care from 20 million people, and yet he cites as one of his greatest accomplishments. Trump says, vote for me again because of Obama's 2014 policy, which I tweaked, which gives free health care through the government, which most of his supporters are actually against. Inconceivable. I mean, just a laughable joke of an interview. Then Donald Trump goes into what I call the Sir routine. The Sir routine is when Trump retells a story of someone coming to him and saying something. And he often says, they came to me and they said, Sir, XYZ, right? Fill in the blanks. In this case, it's they came to me and black people said, Sir, thank you for calling out something, I guess. Take a look at this one. It's a doozy.
We have cities that are worse, in some cases far worse. Take a look at Detroit. Take a look at what's happening in Oakland. Take a look at what's happening in Baltimore. And everyone gets upset when I say it. They say, oh, is that a racist statement? It's not a racist. Frankly, Black people come up to me, say, thank you, sir, for saying it. They want help. These cities, it's like living in hell.
Right. So black people are coming to Trump asking him, please, sir, get us out of our hell-like cities. Does anybody believe that black people who support Trump at 8% are coming to him and thanking him for anything? And now this gets us to the climax of this softball interview. Trump again is insisting, if we didn't test for coronavirus, we wouldn't have any cases. And he goes into this thing of how there are 19 different names for coronavirus. Take a look.
If we didn't do testing, we'd have no cases. Other countries, they don't test millions. So up to almost 30 million tests. So when you do 30 million, you're going to have a kid with the sniffles, and they'll say it's coronavirus, whatever you want to call it. I said the other night, there are so many names to this. I could name 19 names, like Corona 19, but I could name 19 names.
Right. I mean, listen, if we didn't have Border Patrol, we would not find anybody crossing the border illegally. Problem solved, right? If we didn't ever test for STDs, you'd be totally clean, right? No coronavirus testing means no cases. Got it. Makes perfect sense. Repeating this again, and as I've said before, he's had an opportunity to get away from that horrible answer. He could frame this in some other way, but continuing to repeat that bogus framing. And then here is the denouement. So this is not the climax of the interview. This is the denouement, because it's almost like a sad finale. Here is Trump almost sounding resigned to the idea that he's going to lose in November to Joe Biden. He's talking like he's already lost. Listen to this.
Here's a guy who doesn't talk. Nobody hears him. Whenever he does talk, he can't put two sentences together. I don't want to be nice or unnice, okay? But, I mean, the man can't speak. And he's going to be your president because some people don't love me, maybe. And, you know, all I'm doing is doing my job. Don't forget, before the China plague came in, and it's a China plague, before that came in, we had the best job numbers we've ever had. We had the best economy we've ever had.
Joe Biden is going to be your president because some people don't love me, maybe. It's all about Trump. It's never about you destroyed trade. It's never about you bungled coronavirus. It's never about you made us the laughingstock of the world. It's some people don't love me, so they're going to vote for Joe Biden. Famous last words, by the way, we can hope, but we've got to get out and vote. So imagine a complete softball propaganda interview meant to make Trump look good, that's all. And Trump couldn't do it in any way that made sense. He missed the gimme, as we say in golf, which Donald Trump knows very, very much about. If you are anything like me, you probably aren't thrilled with the idea of going into a doctor's office right now. And thankfully, there's a practical and affordable way to take control of your health and get personalized care from the comfort of your home. It's a service called SteadyMD. They're one of our sponsors. You take a quiz, you get matched with a licensed primary care physician who understands your health needs. You have a 1-hour video call with your new doctor. You establish a meaningful relationship with them. And after that, your doctor is available to you anytime by text, phone, or video chat. This is not a random doctor on call. Each doctor at SteadyMD has a limited number of patients, so they actually have time to listen to you. You get the personal attention that you deserve. They can do almost everything an in-person doctor can do: perform medical evaluations, talk to you about health concerns, send prescriptions to your home or local pharmacy, and anything they can't do online, they'll quickly set you up with an in-person provider to do, things like blood tests, as an example. You don't need insurance. It's only $99 a month with no other fees or copays. There are so many practical advantages to using SteadyMD for primary care, and it's also so much more affordable. Go to steadymd.com/Pakman to take the free quiz, see which doctor is right for you. I took their quiz. They matched me with a doctor who specializes in my particular health needs and situation. The doctor they gave me is a really perfect fit for me and my medical needs. There's no risk, no commitment to get started. Just click the link right underneath this video.